Hey, everybody. Welcome to Largo's Lair. I'm Largo. This is the Lair. And today we are talking about the Bone Collector. And as always, my buddy Will be joining us. Hey, Will.
Hey Jim, how you doing?
I am getting there. I am excited to talk about the Bone Collector, our mysterious figure
Yeah.
who I should grab off the shelf because I'll want to talk about him here in a minute. I am liking this guy. I always liked the design of the toy. The skull mask is
Absolutely. He
very
looks
cool.
mean, and we're gonna find out he is pretty mean. So,
Yeah. So without further ado, let's check out the Bone Collector. Wow.
like,
Yeah. He is he's a bad mamma jamma. All right, let's see what we've got here for the Bone Collector. Now, I'll preface by saying he is an enigma, wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in a burrito. There's not a lot about him. We have the figure, we have the combat profile, and he was left specifically somewhat vague. And we know that Bobby is in the process of updating his story as the movie script and the novel are evolving the characters. Bone Collector's role is shifting, and we'll talk about that as we go through. So just kind of a preface. Some of this may not be canonical by the time we get to the film, but we're just expressing what we know of what we have between the mission files and his combat profile. So the Bone Collector. First place we really see him, other than his figure, is in mission file number 2. And this was, again, like we've talked about before, they're set up as dossiers. Someone is reading this intelligence. And this is really the first glimpse of some solid data about the Bone Collector that we have. And you want to read through that, Will?
yeah, you get a really nice write-up on the file there. It says, although not officially recognized by the makeshift government of New Colonia, it is accepted that Carrick and the garrison have their tacit approval to strike in New Colonia, New Colonia's name. Sometimes, however, the deeds are too dirty even for Carrick and his group to tackle them. That's when they call in the Bone Collector, an independent operator and survivalist. The Bone Collector almost seems as though he was waiting for the end of the world. And now that America stands on the brink of self-destruction, he has emerged to force unto himself, striking in the dark, taking no prisoners, shooting first and asking questions later. The Bone Collector is the jagged blade of justice, the wetwork weapon wielded by the hand of New Colonia. Slowly emerging from the shadows, these new threats are working in concert to break the backs of the smaller nations, to lead New Colonia down the path of victory.
Yeah, some pretty grim
I
stuff.
love the jagged blade of justice. It's great. Yeah, that describes him pretty well.
Yeah, and this is where I got the premise for what we talked about when we kind of did an overview, is the idea that there are some things the garrison doesn't want their name associated with, but something nasty has to get done, they call the Bone Collector. He's their guy, their go-to. So who is he? Well, according to his combat profile, his name is Alan Arthur. That may be subject to change, as we have noticed Bill Nedrow is making some slight adjustments, and I think his name is one of them that will change when we get to the novel. So just keep that in mind. Codename Bone Collector, birthplace Tucson, Arizona. His primary MOS is 11 Alpha Infantry. His additional skills are 89 Echo, which is Explosives Ordnance Disposal, or EOD, 19 Bravo, which is Armor Officer. His rank is unknown, but we know he is affiliated with the garrison. And there's his combat profile. And most of what we're going to go over today is taken from this profile because, well, that is the most information we have. So we'll see where we go from there.
All right. So it says that he's an EOD, an ordnance officer. So Jim went through the trouble and just kind of put together this slide to explain what that is. So thank you, Jim. That's pretty awesome. Arthur Allen was a career armor and infantry officer in the United States Army. Trained under the leadership of old school veterans, Arthur was ambitious and tenacious. And then we have I'm sorry, Jim.
The regimental crest of
the regimental crest of the Army Ordnance Corps, one of the oldest insignia designations used by the U.S. Army. Pretty interesting.
Right.
And
yeah, you can see the long
branch,
palm cannons there and the cannonball, so it goes way back.
Yeah, and then the armor branch insignia features cross sabers with an M26 Pershing tank superimposed on top. Nice.
Right. So that does, right off the bat, just looking at his real world training, I mean, he's a very unique officer because he has both EOD and armor training. So he is a specialist in two unique fields that will definitely play into how he is used by the garrison. So just for those of us who aren't military experts, I went ahead and looked at what are some of the duties of an 89 Echo. So an 89 Echo is slightly different from a standard EOD soldier. The officer commands or serves as a staff officer of units or activities responsible for explosive ordnance disposal operations or control. The job includes locating, rendering safe, removing, and subsequent disposing and salvaging of unexploded, conventional, and special explosive ordnance, called NBC, nuclear, biological, and chemical. So some of his skills that all EOD officers would learn would be basic electronics, electricity fundamentals for understanding how to wire a bomb or disarm a bomb, hazards and identification of United States and foreign munitions, demolition materials, procedures and operations, chemical and biological ordnance disposal operations. The flip side of that would be if you know how to safely render something inert, you also know how to build it. So he can build bombs just as well as he can take them apart, and that makes him very dangerous.
So he's also a 19B armor officer. And
19 Bravo. You don't want to get
19 Bravo. Sorry.
You don't want to get the Army guys yelling at you.
Yeah, believe me, I'll mess up a lot of this stuff. But yeah, they perform in leadership or staff positions of tank units or tank-specific positions at higher headquarters. The duties include to evaluate intelligence, estimate situations, formulate courses of action, and make decisions, coordinate employment of unit with other units to include combat aviation, command and attach elements, direct communications, location and construction of positions, and camouflaging of positions and equipment. Direct operations and employment of tanks, armored vehicles, support infantry, and related equipment. Direct training, administration, supply maintenance, transportation, and security activities in the unit. We do see him in his first appearance. He's running some convoys, which would fall right into this designation. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so he is.
Yeah, and as a 19 Bravo, being an armor officer, he's not a tank driver. He probably could. He knows how to operate a tank, but what his skill and specialty is in calculating how things should fit on the battlefield, where to attack, how to dig in your tanks or other armored equipment. He's a strategist. So not only is he really deadly and knows how to blow things up, He knows how to position what he has as far as armor.
Which could be, just as important as, having a supply chain and, setting everything up, so to speak, ahead of time, could mean the difference between winning and losing.
Absolutely. And it makes a lot of sense why Carrick would want him as one of his top aides to coordinate.
Well, especially in the former United States, there's a lot of kind of, the overall, they're acquiring things and then kind of, taking them into their fold and just using them to spread the, the garrison cavalry in New Colonia. So,
every time that the garrison takes over another one of these republics, anything that's in an armory, anything that's in a motor pool, they're going to absorb that into the garrison, and people like the Bone Collector is going to know how to best put that out and utilize it to its most deadly effect. So he became disillusioned when the collapse of the Union did not lead to an all-out war and opted to retire rather than continue to fight. This guy is hardcore. He wants war. He wants to go out in a blaze of glory. He saw how the military had become corrupted and institutionalized by political inbreeding and looked for an opportunity to put his skills to use. So even though he retired officially from the army, he saw that there was an opportunity for a man of his skills because he has a particular set of talents.
Absolutely.
So let's see where this leads.
Now, that opportunity came in the form of someone from his past, Carrick. Having served together in Afghanistan, Carrick was very familiar with Arthur's reputation and sought his skills for the garrison. Taking up the moniker, the Bone Collector, Arthur became one of the garrison's commanding officers and reported directly to Carrick.
So I did not realize before I started digging into this that they had fought together, and so that's where Carrick knew of him. So he definitely sought him out once the garrison was formed. So the Bone Collector completed his missions with the ferocity as if he were the god of war himself. Although his missions were a success, the Bone Collector had a reputation of not taking prisoners and using brutal methods for extracting information. These tactics often caused tension with Carrick, who ideally wanted to restore the country with less bloodshed. The Bone Collector's villainy would become a necessity in what was to come. Ominous.
Yeah. So even Carrick sometimes is like, this guy's a little too much. So, they use him. He's not unleashed or set off without, thinking it through, because this guy wrecks stuff.
Like grandmama used to say, stop being extra. You be an extra. He's very extra.
Yeah.
So now I've kind of asterisked this because some of the lore on the Valaverse official website and what's on the back of the profile there is some differences. So whether or not this is still canon, I don't know. That is a question for Valacon if you happen to catch Bobby and he feels generous with sharing information.
Yep.
But
so it just says, returning to his roots in Arizona, he began establishing a local security group, the Brothers of Bones, composed of veterans like himself. Within months, his company evolved into a private military of its own, providing security for high-ranking officials within the Republic. So, he started, he recruited a bunch of like-minded people, started providing security, and then, got the attention of some of the higher-ups there. And
right.
I don't know if they all knew what they were in for when they accepted his help, but, they did.
I'm sure Carrick did. Maybe some of these brothers that signed up with him probably didn't know how expendable
what they were in for too. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we do see the Brothers of Bones in episode or Mission Files 2. I mean, they're his henchmen that are there in the black suits with the skull masks. Whether or not we will see them in figure form, whether or not the Brothers of Bones still exist within the canon of Valaverse, we don't really know at this point. But who knows? There's a lot of customizers out there making Brothers of Bones, and they're kind of cool. But I kind of see where the Bone Collector is more of a I wouldn't say a bounty hunter like Boba Fett, but he's definitely a unique individual. And he may just pull particular soldiers from the garrison to go on missions with him, probably some of the nastier of the bunch that can tolerate.
Like instead of like a fixer who comes in to fix things when there's problems, he's a wrecker. They call him. And
he's a blunt instrument.
Yes, when things need to be, we don't need to be subtle with this one. We just need it destroyed. Bone Collector, let's go.
Yeah,
and he's more than happy to do it.
And along that same line, this next. Yeah, again, his work didn't go unnoticed, and soon Arthur found himself meeting with old colleagues, creating plans of his own. Now, that came from the website, and I think that alludes to what we see on his combat profile, where we know that Carrick has recruited him.
Mm-hmm.
So this, I don't know. I mean, this is where we see he gets his name. But
I like this.
I do too. I don't know if this is actually canon, but.
I'll let you read. The legend has it that in the wake of his missions, he instructed his unit to pile the bodies of the fallen. Targets on the left, brothers on the right. He eyeballed the mathematical carnage in front of him, taking note of the kill percentage weighted against the loss of his squad. He does this every mission, which earned him the moniker, the Bone Collector. And I'll tell you what, if he is doing a mathematical equation, I don't think he cares very much for the brothers on the right, because even in Mission Files 2, a lot of those guys get taken out. He is giving instruction and trying to tell them to avoid the danger, but I kind of get the impression that he would send as many men into the meat grinder as he had to get his job done. So.
Yeah, he definitely
kind of cool.
He definitely treats them more like pawns than brothers. But
yeah,
and my thought on this, and this is just my own headcanon at this point, I think this is an urban legend. I think either this is something that maybe he did once and somebody saw it, and then somebody said something to somebody else in the garrison, and this has become part of the legend of the Bone Collector. I don't know how practical it would be for him to try to do this every mission. So maybe it's just an urban legend about him, or maybe he really does. Only Mr. Vala knows for sure. So just bring up an image here of the Bone Collector himself from his packaging and the figure. And of course, Mission File 2 is where we have the most information about him so far. And I love that cover.
Oh, it's a great cover. And I mean, he just looks nasty. I mean, as soon as you see him, you're like, oh, who's this guy? I want to know more about him. And
exactly.
It's a cool look. You can't deny that. So,
and the look is definitely going to become iconic. I mean, he is going to be one of those characters that just from his face and his helmet alone, people are going to know this character. And I'm really excited to see how that translates to film when Bobby gets the movie going. Because as a figure, I love playing with this guy. He is just that mask is so cool. It really sets him apart and is very unique and you definitely know this is a guy who enjoys war. He does. And we've talked about the inspiration for this. And I think Bobby has mentioned it as well.
Yeah.
This General Kale from the Willow film, the commander of Bavmorda's army, definitely is an inspiration. I mean, when you see that on film,
the first time you see him charging in with that mask on, and he doesn't speak even too much in the movie, but every scene that he's in, you're watching him, man. He's a badass, and even long after people had forgotten the movie, or you talk about that guy. Anytime someone brings up Willow, he comes up. So once again, this is a wonderful job of Bobby Vala. Even if it was direct inspiration, It's taking something cool, something familiar, and making it new. Because Bone
Yeah.
Collector, if you go back, is distinctly different, but still evokes that same response from you when you see him.
Right. And
He's
I'm sure that
cool.
the mask
Yeah.
is just like it was with General Kale. The mask is a fear tactic. When you see this guy on the
Mhm.
battlefield, you might hesitate, and that's all he needs is an opening. And he was pretty terrifying when he took the mask off too in the film, if I remember. He's a
Yeah.
pretty tough looking dude. And
Yeah.
the Bone Collector has a great head sculpt underneath that mask as well. Bobby could have just created a figure that had the mask stuck to his head.
Yep.
That would have been an easy way out, but I don't know how well my camera picks it up. He's got a pretty good face sculpt
Yeah.
underneath there, and he is a serious, no nonsense kind of dude.
Hmm.
So, kudos again to Mr. Vala for the Bone Collector head sculpt, and the way that the helmet fits is just really nice. For those of you who missed out on the series one, don't fret. Rumor has it the Bone Collector will come out again as part of the Special Deployment series. So you'll have another chance to pick him up for your collection. But that is pretty much, that's pretty much what we have.
Yeah.
The information on him is a bit sparse compared to other characters. And I think that's on purpose. I think at this point, Bobby is wanting to keep him a bit elusive. He does show up in Bill Nedro's novel. He is in Broken Alliances. I won't spoil it, but you're going to enjoy reading his exploits there.
Every bit of the Bone Collector as you expect him to be. In issue 2, you had Condor and Bone Collector meeting for the first time. It's an action-packed. It's just a couple pages because it's a shorter story. It's broken up into 3 little things there, but Bone Collector's running that convoy of the captured soldiers there. Condor's nowhere to be found. Condor makes his action debut there too, taking on an entire convoy by himself and just, kicking some serious ass. And, we get a scene between the two of them. They both take a shot at each other and hit, and out of ammo. Condor's ready to take him down with his last bullet, but Bone Collector, pop quiz, hot shot. You got one bullet. Kill me, or you could free your friends. What are you gonna do?
And even in that short action scene, we see the tactics and the calculation of both Condor and the Bone Collector.
Yeah,
the Bone Collector is picking up on this. He realizes we're going to get ambushed. We are being ambushed. You guys were going to get flanked. Get over here. Do this. He's given commands. Unfortunately, his brothers of Bones are not up to the task, and Condor wipes them out.
Yeah, they're gone. From what it looked like. I mean, he even told those guys. He said, "There's gonna be, and I think an explosion." And that's a perfect place for a trap. And the trap goes off. So he's like one step, ahead of Condor. What he's doing, he knows what's going to come next, but it still happens, and his men are not as quick as him.
Right. So, he's not a brainless thug. He can be brutal, and he is a villain.
That exchange, his equation was one himself. He got out of there, and and moved on. And I think he even says, you beat me this time, Condor, but next time I'll have more bullets. So they're gonna meet again, and it's gonna be nasty.
Oh yeah.
But he's a perfect villain. I mean, he's great. But he has skills. He's not just mean. He is cold and calculating. He could figure these things out. So I wouldn't underestimate the Bone Collector.
And it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic between him and Karak. Karak is a patriot. He wants to see a reconstituted republic, whether it's called the United States or something else. He wants to see everything come back. So I don't classify Karak himself as a villain. He is in an opposition at times to what Action Force is doing. Bone Collector is a villain. He just is.
Oh, yeah.
He's just a bad guy. There's no question about that. And I think because we know that while Condor has a very strict code of conduct, so does Karak. Karak he doesn't want to just have, willy-nilly bloodshed and destruction. He wants an orderly, methodical way of drawing everything into New Colonia to create a new and perfect union, if you will.
I think at one point
Bone Collector just wants to see the world burn.
Oh yeah, I think at one point in the mission files, and I'm not spoiling anything, I don't think, but someone says, "Should we call the Bone Collector?" And he says, "No,
No.
don't call him on this one because when they report what happened, I want it to be known that we did it the right way." And he knows that if Bone Collector was there, it would just be a big, a bloodbath, and he doesn't want it
probably.
Yeah. So he tells him to hold off on that one. Well, just like with Condor and, with the Action Force movie coming up, I think we speculated a little bit about this one too. And
we did. Let me see if I have something here that we can pull up in our little bag of tricks. Yeah.
Just
you
like
guys
yeah. Bjorn asked about it. We kind of speculated and came up with someone who we thought was good. So that episode, if you saw it, you'll see who we picked there, and there was some discussion on that. So here's our pick now. And before we run it, we're just winging it here. We're not we're not casting directors. We don't know. This is just. I was thinking Bone Collector. Who could work for this, and we were talking about it a little bit back and forth, and this guy came up and we went with it. So if you like it, hate it, let us know in the comments below and let's talk about it. But
yeah,
let's. All right,
Tim Roth.
Yeah, yep. Tim Roth. Those scenes there that particularly was from the Hulk movie, the MCU Hulk movie, where he played the
Bronsky, the one who becomes the Abomination. Yeah, so I've loved him ever since Reservoir Dogs. He can play a villain. He's a good actor. He can do an American accent. And he can certainly play a soldier, as we saw. The Hulk wasn't the greatest movie, but his part in it was
right. Yeah, it was a while ago. So I don't know if he's even that young anymore. But once again, this is in our imagination. So time and space, all those things are irrelevant.
Right.
We're talking about somewhat.
Yeah, this is like our fantasy football picks for the movie.
Well, that was pretty interesting. Bone Collector is definitely one of those villains that I love. As soon as I saw him, I liked him. The more I read about him, the more I like him. Well, don't like him. I despise him. He's evil, but
But you love to hate him.
I love the character. So that's pretty cool, man. What do you think, Jim? Should we check in with the live guys and see what they have to say about this? And check in with chat?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So, thanks for watching us, and hopefully this gives you some inspiration to see how you want to set up your own headcanon and how the Bone Collector will fit in with that. So let's see what's going on the live stream. See you on the other side. Hey, everybody. I'm actually live. I'm going to turn that banner off. I'm here. How is everyone doing today? How'd you like our Bone Collector presentation? Chat is jumping. You guys are definitely interested either way on where Bone Collector is going. Let's get Will's 2 cents in on this. There he is. Hey, Will.
I made it to the other side. How's it going, everyone?
Man, this is a very cool character. Iconic in his design. Just a neat, unique character. Nobody else is using his color scheme either at this point. He stands out even amongst the garrison. So
he's a nasty man with a nasty plan, and I like him.
That's it. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. Did I miss much? No, looks like we're pretty well caught up. Let's see what Ted's got to say here. It's got a wide range, does comedy as well as to 4 rooms. I must have missed the beginning of that.
That was about Tim Roth. Yeah.
Tim Roth. Yes, 4 rooms. He was the bellhop in that. I forgot. Gerard Butler. Yeah, I could see that.
For sure.
I don't think he's mean enough, though. Could he play a villain as nasty as Bone Collector? That's a good question.
And yeah, I saw a couple people agreeing they could see that. Yep, Pericles, Dragon Ball Z just said he'll be 61 this May. Yeah, I know. I mean, he's old, but movie magic. They could de-age him.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, he might be a little old for the character, but hey, Tom Cruise is pushing some high numbers, and he's still doing action films, so it's possible. Bill says heel heat is different from go away heat. Okay, so yeah, it would be interesting to see if we see a redemption arc for the Bone Collector. He was an honorable man at one time when he was part of the military, the United States military. So who knows? Anything's possible.
Oh, I think Ted's talking about what's his name? Carl something. The guy who played Judge Dredd from The Boys. Is it Carl Urban?
Carl Urban. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another good possibility.
Yeah.
I don't know about Russell Crowe. After seeing him play Fat Zeus, I don't really see him playing. Maybe when he was younger, like his Gladiator days.
Sure. Sure. But we'll just have to wait to see. Like I said, that's one of the things I really hope we get some info on at Valicon is the movie. Casting, anything, any little tidbit. A teaser would be awesome, but I don't know if it's that far along. But yeah, that would be pretty interesting.
I know. All I know is he said it was in production, but I don't know at what stage. So. Yeah.
And then we pulled the comment up, but Mr. Ryan Laserpants said that Bobby teased that Bone Collector may have a bit of a redemption arc. I'd be really interested to see that.
Yeah, I know he had mentioned something about that with Karak, but I didn't know. I thought Bone Collector was just going to be thoroughly despicable through and through, but who knows? Still early in the game. Speaking of games, how are we doing on our survey for our Merc name? Let's take a look.
Yeah, let's take a look. I know who I voted for, but I'm not going to reveal that yet. Let me go up here and see. Oh, nope.
Well, I'm looking at it right now with 18 votes. Grinder is at 28%, Brimstone at 44%, and Grizzly is at 28%. So it looks like Brimstone's got the lead right now. Give guys a few minutes to look at that and make a decision.
Yeah, do we want to pull up that picture of him so maybe people could get a visual?
Yeah, that's a good idea. There he is.
Here he is.
There's our veteran on his stolen bike.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we had a lot of great name suggestions in the comments from our last episode, so we appreciate that. These were the top 3 that we picked, and from these, we'll let you guys decide which one. So, yeah, I'm definitely enjoying the participation. Everybody's really got some good ideas.
Yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed reading everyone's ideas, and some people even elaborated on them and gave a little story and stuff. So if you guys want to check that out, look in the comments below. But I really like this segment of the show. I enjoy it. I hope you guys do too. So you let us know, and we'll keep doing it. As well as the casting calls. If you guys think that's a fun thing to do and some fun speculation, if you have ideas, please put them in the comments below. We'd like to hear.
Indeed, I agree with Goji. Yeah, all the good actors seem to be getting long in the tooth. Some of these young whippersnappers need to step up.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Phil. That is from an old toy line from Wildcats, Jim Lee's Wildcats. That was the Bullet Cycle, that I think Grifter used in
Yeah.
that cartoon and comic book, and it's been appropriated by my Action Force guys.
Yeah, it looks pretty
Bjorn
cool. It looks
says
like
he's going
some.
to be on patrol there at Valicon to see if he gets any new news for us. So, just as a reminder, Bjorn will be our man in the field along with Will at Valicon. Joe Fest for the normies, but Valicon. And looking to pick up some cool swag and maybe catch a few interviews and pictures. We'll see what happens. It's going to be fun to see what your report comes back with.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. I think it's going to be the best one ever. So, every year I've gone, it's been great, but this one I'm really looking forward to.
Yes, Ryan has promised it will be. I think he said 80% or 90% more phallic than last year, and Bobby said, "No, we're
Yes.
going higher. We're
Yeah, I
going,
saw that.
we're going all the way." So we'll
I
probably
saw
see,
that.
spotlights, Valis spotlights in the sky, and fireworks. Maybe,
That was a really good episode. Articulated Chad is doing
yes,
over on his channel. He's doing Road to Joe Fest, and he had Bobby Val on last night. It was a really great interview.
yeah, it was. If you guys haven't had a chance, please catch that because it's just fun watching those two guys interact, and some very interesting commentary on the state of toy companies and what they're producing these days. So,
All right,
yeah,
let's see. For some reason, I'm not seeing the poll. I don't know why. I think my chat's messed up here. So if we go ahead and close it out, I'll cut and paste it so we could put it below in the comments. But I think it's pretty
all right.
much.
Yeah, it looks like Brimstone is our clear leader. So I'll go ahead and end the
Ooh,
poll.
that's the one I voted for. Great. All right.
There it is. So with 19 votes, looks like Brimstone is our runaway favorite. Thank you,
Yeah,
Bjorn.
I
Bjorn
really
put
like
the
that
link in
name.
the chat for Articulated Chad's video.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
please do check that out. It's definitely must see TV, as they say.
Bjorn, I liked Grizzly as well. I thought that was a really good name, but
Grizzly was
Brimstone to
good.
me just seemed like this guy raised as hell, so his name's Brimstone. So I liked it. I liked it.
Yep.
So yeah, that was
So
a lot of fun.
yeah, we'll play our Merc bit again just for fun, and
Great.
yep.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome. So the Merc army is building. We now have 2
that's it.
members.
We do 2 official members. We've got where am I? There I am.
Oh,
So there is our Brimstone with his boomstick, and he'll be joining our a raptor from the previous naming session. And next time we'll have a new guy for you guys to take a look at. So thanks for everybody for participating. And let me pull that down here.
Bjorn has a great
Back.
comment here. He said Brimstone needs an animal companion named Fire. That's a
I
good team
might
up.
have an
I like
extra
it.
wolf from a certain classified guy that might fit with that. Maybe even have a good dog companion around here somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that we see some dogs in Action Force in the future. So who knows?
Very cool. And you've got Laser Pants had a great comment there.
Absolutely, minimum 90%. Yeah, it's going to go higher. I have no doubt. And Goji is absolutely correct. Hot tuna can drink brimstone under the table. For those who don't know, hot tuna is kind of our running joke for one of our early customs that before we started doing the show got named by some very strange and wonderful people who help me with that. So I'll bring him on later. He's out of reach at the moment, but he's probably at the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clancy Brown. That's another great actor who does good voices for villains. I could definitely see a Clancy Brown Brimstone character. I could dig that. I'd like to see Clancy Brown do anything with the Action Force movie. I could see
Yeah.
him as a grizzled war vet of some sort. That would be cool. So, what else we got going today, Will? We need
So
to talk about. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. No, I was going to say what you're going to say, probably.
Okay. Well, let's. We could do a teaser for next episode. Um, I will mention the Beasties and Baddies show. The first episode was a great success with Gojitron and Grindhead Jim. So much so that I've filmed an episode with Brick Something, and I'll be premiering that later this week, probably Wednesday. So look for that in your notifications, and we'll do that earlier in the week, and we'll try to alternate so that we don't conflict with Loose but Complete, because I want to watch Loose but Complete. So that'll be every other Wednesday from them probably, and. What is going on next week? What are we up to now? Let me see if I've got a video for that somewhere in here. Ah, there we go. This will be our next episode of AF3. You asked for it, you got it. We're doing the Swarm. They're up
Yes,
next.
it's going to be fantastic. They are a fan favorite villain or troop of the line.
Absolutely. So I think that pretty much brings us to a close for what we have for today. We've covered the Bone Collector, we've got our Merc named, and we've got a teaser for what's coming up. We do want to make a special announcement for this coming Saturday. One of our friends, Grindhead Jim, is doing a benefit called Benefit for Life. It's going to be on Saturday, the 25th, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be on both Grindhead Jim and Resurrection Toys YouTube channel, and they're going to simulcast on Twitch. It's going to be a fundraiser for our buddy Rolo, otherwise known as Masters Maniac Mexico. He's got some medical issues that he needs some help paying the bill for. So we're going to, Will, I think, is going to donate some toys to auction.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'll be at work, so I'll miss the benefit. But what I'm going to do is dig through the collection and find some really cool stuff that I could put up. And the way that Jim presents it or sells it or auctions it or just gives it away, I don't care as long as it helps benefit Rolo and his cause. And then I'll just be happy to ship those items out to whoever those winners are. So though I can't be there, my toys will be there. So tune in and maybe score some really cool stuff. You never know what I'll pick up.
Thank you, Will. There will be cool swag, cool conversation, and who knows, hijinks will ensue. So join us on Saturday. I'll be there, and we'll just hopefully raise a whole lot of money for a good cause. So with that said, I think I'm ready for a beer. How about you?
Sounds good, yeah. And just to address this one real quick, Badger wants to know who the next Merc to be named was. We will reveal that Merc in the next episode, the Swarm episode. So, but I'll give you a hint. Should we give him a hint?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. He's going to be one of those kind of guys that help fix up the wounded there, So he will be a medic. It's a pretty cool idea and a great vision. So you'll just have to tune in next time to see what Jim came up with.
Yep. So start thinking of medic type names. We'll reveal that character on our next episode. So Beast and Baddies coming up later this week. The benefit for Rolo on Saturday. Will, do you have anything cooking over on Wilhelm Toy and Hobby?
No, I've got a Batwing, a Spin Master Batwing review coming up. That'll be this week, and I did a couple videos about the launch of that the Flash movie merch over on my channel, Wilhelm Toy and Hobby. You go check that stuff out, or not. I really don't care, but I'm just happy to be here. So
And
no,
also
thank
doing
you
some nice,
everyone for tuning in.
the good public awareness and how do you call that?
No, my scalper alert.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that guy really rubbed me the wrong way. You got the McFarlane Batmobile, went on pre-order last week, and it was $60, sold out within an hour. Then some jerk face kind of hijacked the link there. So on the Amazon page, it looks like the legitimate listing for the McFarlane Batmobile, but it's now $120 with a ship date of January 2024. And then the jerk has that buried deep down into the nitty gritty there, fine print saying you can't get a refund for your pre-order with it after 3 days. So this guy's not only shipping like almost a year late. So it seems like a real runaround. The guy's got horrible reviews. He responds to people who complained about it by calling them idiots, and it's just terrible that it links to the official McFarlane Amazon page, and then it's also the only listing that shows up. So there's really no distinction unless you look closely and realize that this is a third-party seller. So just kind of standard tactics, and I didn't want people falling for it. If you want that Batmobile, just wait. It'll be on store shelves, and you'll be able to get it. Your version of it. So don't
buyer beware. Always double and triple check when you order from Amazon to make sure you're getting the real deal.
Walmart does that as well. Sometimes you'll see a listing for something, and it's a third-party seller that they allow on their site, and it's a crappy tactic, and I don't want anyone to fall for it. So. It really grind my gears, so I had to make a little video about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. We should call out knuckleheads like that when they pull shenanigans. Mm-hmm. Also, one other thing before I forget, because I have a Swiss cheese memory. It happens when you're over 50. Hella Dope Toys has a sale that started today. 15% off Series 2 Action Force. So if you need some Series 2 guys, they have them in stock, and they're going to be on discount this week. So check that out. And
dude, super fast shipping. I ordered a Action Force figure from them. It was processed and came in like 2 days. It was super. I guess it depends where you live, but it was packed really well. And phew, I couldn't even believe it was here. It was just great job they're doing over there.
They're good guys, and they will take care of you. Customer service is good. They also have AWOC. If you're into Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, I think they have Series 1 of that in stock as well. So just shameless plug for our buddies. I can't think of anything else. How about you, Will?
Nope. Other than to say thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. This show is really fun to do, and thank you, Jim. I'm happy to be here and happy to talk about Action Force. So if you guys want to chat, you could always leave a comment, and I'd be happy to correspond with you about it.
Yeah, we do this for fun, and we're having a good time. So I hope everyone else is as well. Blah, 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 blah. I really do need a beer.
It's all right for that beer.
It is. Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening. We will see y'all in the near future.
All right. Hey, that's pretty